Right, hello and welcome back to another Champions League video. The new woke Champions League format is all done. We're back to our traditional, regularly scheduled round of 16. We return to business as usual now, with the traditional round of 16 kicking off very shortly. But those extra two matches gave us some really good football and plenty of shocks that I just did not see coming at some points, as you're shortly going to see. I've not been completely convinced by this new format as of yet, but this season's competition has produced some really good moments, and I think there's definitely merit in this new format. But before we take a look at those round of 16 predictions, let's take a look at my knockout phase predictions, see how well we did before I tackle the round of 16. And we start off with Club Brugge versus Atalanta. Now originally I had backed Atalanta to progress, but Club Brugge performed well, and fair play to them. They won both legs of the tie quite convincingly. So, fair play to the Belgians. I really couldn't see them beating Atalanta, but they've proved me wrong and did so quite convincingly, including in Bergamo. Fair play. And then we move on to Sporting Lisbon versus Borussia Dortmund. Now, I had backed Sporting to progress over Dortmund, but the Germans had other ideas. I did say it was probably an unpopular shout to have Sporting qualify, and for good reason. Dortmund beat Sporting 3-0 in their own gaff before grinding out a 0-0 at Siegel Iduna Park. Sporting also didn't play Gyökeres for that return fixture, which was very, very bizarre, but Dortmund are through nonetheless, so, hold that I guess. And then we move on to Manchester City versus Real Madrid, and I finally had a correct prediction. The reigning European champions eased past their English counterparts, with Mbappe completely dunking on Man City, scoring 4 goals over both legs. It's not been a great season for City, and Real Madrid are just too good. This is their competition. We knew that was coming, and it happened. Then we move on to Celtic versus Bayern Munich. This was another correct one, but with a very uncontroversial prediction, as the Bavarians secured their round of 16 spot. Who would have guessed? Celtic gave things a good go, to be fair to them. They made it a much tighter affair than it should have been, but it was always going to be a big ask to overcome Bayern, and they fell at the final hurdle. Now, I might be getting good at this prediction monarchy, I might have some ball knowledge up there. And then we move on to Feyenoord versus AC Milan, and any semblance of ball knowledge I had, completely gone. Reduced to atoms, as Feyenoord really had AC Milan's number here. They beat them at home and then secured a draw at La San Siro as well. You can't really complain with that. AC Milan may have Jimenez, but Feyenoord are on to the next stage of the Champions League. So, you win some, you lose some. And seeing 2 red cards in that final clash was some quality stuff, so thumbs up from me. And then we move on to Juventus versus PSV, which is my return to knowing ball, as I backed PSV to progress, which they did. Juve were leading coming to that second leg of the tie, but PSV turned things around in Eindhoven, with Perisic playing some absolute brilliant football. He was like a man possessed. Quality stuff from him, and good stuff from PSV in general. It was a rogue shout, and it paid off, because I knew that they had what it takes to overcome Juve, especially with the way they're playing currently. It was going to be tough, and it was tough, but PSV played some really good football, had a bit of luck on their side, and qualified deservedly, I think. Then move on to Brest versus PSG, and I don't think it was ever in doubt that PSG would progress here. I mean, they've already put 8 past them in the league, and secured another 10 here. Rest in peace, Brest. Rest in peace. You were truly manhandled there. And then we move on to Benfica versus AS Monaco. I backed Benfica, and I was correct to do so, as they progressed past Monaco, but it wasn't as comfortable as you may have expected. It ended up being a pretty close clash, as the second leg of the tie ended 3-3. It made some really good viewing, and was made even better by my prediction coming to fruition. Maybe I do know ball. Possibly. So yeah, those were my knockout phase predictions. I think I got about half of them right, so not too bad going for this new phase of the Champions League. I will take that. Far better than my original league phase predictions went. So let's jump into that upcoming round of 16 then. There are some pretty tasty clashes lined up here, with some hefty teams looking to progress even further, and some surprise additions from that knockout phase, as well as automatic qualifying teams as well. So I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen in this round 16. Traditional Champions League is back, so let's see what happens. And the first clash we're going to look at is Aston Villa versus Club Brugge. Villa have enjoyed a successful return to the Champions League this season, finishing 8th, allowing them to automatically progress through to round of 16. Good stuff. Villa won 5 of their 8 matches and only lost twice, which isn't bad going. Club Brugge progressed through the knockout phase after beating Atalanta 5-2 on aggregate, with a very impressive performance away in Bergamo securing that position. Brugge finished 24th in the league phase, which is rock bottom as far as that's concerned, for qualification at least, but have managed to find themselves in the round of 16. They are the lowest ranked team to do so in the competition so far. I mean, you can't get lower than 24th to progress, so it does make sense, but still impressive. These two clubs have already met in the Champions League this season, with the game ending in a 1-0 win to Club Brugge, which was Villa's first Champions League loss during this campaign. It was quite an impressive run. I think it was 3 matches before they lost, so, fair play. Both teams are good, I think that's fair to say, and Brugge have impressed me this season. But Villa strengthened in the winter, adding the likes of Marcus Rashford and Asensio to their ranks, however will without John Duran, who was their joint Champions League top goal scorer this season, before he departed to Saudi Arabia. But they've still got Morgan Rogers, so should be fine. And Asensio and Rashford are very good players with Champions League experience as well, so should be good either way. Despite Brugge winning the original tie, I'm going to have to back Villa here. I think the Villains boast the better team and have generally been more successful both in Europe and domestically this season. Brugge will make this a tough one, I have no doubt about that. They may even pull off a surprise win in Belgium, but I think Villa have what it takes to progress to the next round. That's going to be impressive considering how long they've been out of the Champions League. Good stuff from Villa, looking forward to it. I think they'll go through. And then the second clash we're going to look at is Lille versus Dortmund. Now Lille have also impressed me as they secured automatic qualification to the round of 16. Lille have enjoyed some European success this season with big wins over both Real and Atletico Madrid, paving their way for the round of 16 qualification, and they've been a joy to watch, quite frankly. And that's not even mentioning their massive 6-1 win over Feyenoord, which secured qualification into the round of 16. Dortmund beat Sporting 3-0 on aggregate, with a statement win in Portugal securing their qualification. Dortmund also boasts the competition's current goal scorer with Guirassy and his 10 goals, but Lille do have Jonathan David, who has scored 6 so far, and hopefully joins Nottingham Forest in the summer. Please lads. This feels like quite a tough one to call, because I can see both sides progressing over one another. I think I'm leaning more towards Dortmund here, personally, but I could very easily see Lille winning this tie as well. I do think, though, that Guirassy will be the difference maker here, so I'm going to have to back Dortmund to progress in this one. But I wouldn't be mad if I saw Lille progress either, because I quite like Lille, to be fair, but I'm backing Dortmund here. And then we move on to Atletico Madrid versus Real Madrid. We've been treated to a Madrid derby for the round of 16, and I'm looking forward to it. Atletico Madrid have secured automatic qualification to the round of 16 over the Madrid rivals, who had to see off Manchester City to secure their spot in the next round. Atleti secured 6 wins from 8, losing the other 2, with wins against the likes of PSG and Leverkusen amongst those victories. Both teams host some of the competition's highest goal scorers, with Real Madrid boasting Mbappe and Vini Jr., who have scored 7 goals apiece, whilst Atleti can count Griezmann and Alvarez within their ranks, who've both scored 6. From the perspective of somebody who doesn't really watch La Liga, this looks like the most equal that both Madrid teams have looked in recent years, with each side only separated by a point in the league at the moment, or at time of writing. I'm hoping this will lead to 2 exciting clashes between these 2 Spanish and European giants. One side has the better European pedigree though, and I think I'll be backing Real Madrid to progress here. Now don't get me wrong, I would love to see Atleti progress, but I just don't think they can overcome Real Madrid in their own competition. I'm going to back Real to progress with a possible El Clasico on the table for the final. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. It's going to be a good clash, I hope. The atmosphere should be pretty crazy with both Madridsters just going crazy in the inkjet printer and the Metropolitano, so things should be looking good. I'm backing Real to progress, but I'd love to see an Atleti upset. Then for our next clash, we've got Bayer Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich. Now, it's not a proper German rivalry, so I'm not expecting scenes like the aforementioned Madrid derby, but the Germans do match the atmosphere really well, so I'm expecting scenes like the aforementioned Madrid derby, but, just without that hate of a derby. Leverkusen automatically qualified for the round of 16 as they won 5 of their 8 matches, with wins over both Milan sides and a 5-0 win over Salzburg, instrumental in that qualification. They also drew 1 and lost the other 2, which not too bad. Bayern had to see off Celtic in order to progress through the knockouts in a tie that was much closer than I'm sure the Bavarians would have liked. Celtic could have stole it, which would have been crazy, quite frankly, and Twitter would have been carnage as well. These 2 have already played 3 times this season, twice in the league and once in the DFB Pokal. Now both league games finished as draws, while Leverkusen won the cup match 1-0. Bayern's top goal scorer of the competition, to nobody's surprise, is Harry Kane with his 7 goals, whilst Leverkusen are able to boast Florian Wirtz with his 6, which, both good tallies. Bayern have been enjoying a much more successful domestic season than their opponents, 8 points clear at the top, with Leverkusen in second. Maybe the title is already wrapped up. Can Leverkusen claw back 8 points and hope Bayern Munich drop points? I'm not too sure, but it'll be fun to watch nonetheless. And I think Bayern Munich will progress here as well. I think it'll be a good matchup between the two, as they're both pretty evenly matched at the moment. But I do think that Bayern Munich just have a little bit more needed to progress here. So I'm going to have to Bayern Munich to beat Bayer Leverkusen. But anything could happen. It's a match of the Champions League. But come on now. Harry Kane's got to be in contention for a Champions League trophy at some point. And then we move on to Arsenal versus PSV. Arsenal automatically qualified for the round of 16 in quite a comfortable fashion, notching 6 wins and a draw as they continue their quest for that elusive Champions League trophy. Their qualification campaign included wins over PSG and Monaco, as well as a big win against Sporting as well, only losing to Inter Milan, which is, that's fair enough. PSV fought through the knockouts as they came from behind to beat Juventus 4-3 in aggregate, which was quite impressive stuff really. I've really liked what PSV are doing, and they knocked out this cool celebration as well, so major props for that. Arsenal have been enjoying success both domestically and in Europe this season, with their opponents doing the same to be fair. Both sides find themselves second in their respective domestic leagues, so things are looking up for both sides here. But if I was to say one of them has higher chance of winning the title, it would be PSV, because Liverpool are doing quite well in the Prem at the moment, and I think Arsenal could stumble. Now, as much as I would like to see PSV progress to the next round, I just can't see that happening here. Arsenal are a very good footballing side. They're experiencing quite a few injuries in their attacking department at the moment. I mean, not having Kai Havertz could be a blessing in disguise, because that man is terrible. But, taking out a bad player, replacing with a possibly better player, not looking too good for anyone else, is it? Despite that, though, Arsenal are still defensively solid and should be able to see off PSV as well. As much as I don't want to say it, I'm going to have to back Arsenal here. They just have the quality needed to overcome PSV, unfortunately. But hey, I'd be down for another PSV shock. Come on, boys. Come on. And then move on to Inter Milan versus Feyenoord. Facing off against Feyenoord after they knocked out Inter's Milano rivals in the knockout phase. Inter Milan comfortably qualified for the round of 16, winning 6 and drawing one of their games. And that was a draw against Manchester City. Kind of embarrassing, whilst they grabbed wins against Arsenal, Leipzig and Monaco. However, they did lose to Leverkusen, so make of that what you will. Feyenoord qualified by beating AC Milan in what was quite a close match, winning 2-1 on aggregate. So I guess Inter will be rejoicing over the fact that one team knocked out the Milano rivals, and if they beat them, then MMA rules, they're just better than AC Milan. That's how it works, right? Right? Inter are currently second in Serie A, battling Napoli for the Scudetto, and are scoring goals for fun. Feyenoord aren't enjoying as much domestic success though, currently sitting in 4th, and are also without the top goal scorer who joined AC Milan. I do have to back Inter here though. While Feyenoord did beat AC Milan, Inter are a different beast entirely, and currently look better of the 2 Milano outfits. Sorry to any AC Milan fans out there, but they are second in the league, and you're like 7th or 8th, so you can't really chat. They've got a side full of quality, and I see them beating Feyenoord here. The Dutch side may make it difficult, but I can't see them having much to stop this Inter team. Personally, Inter Milan are going through for me. And then we have Liverpool versus PSG. Now, Liverpool have been enjoying a very good season under Arne Slot, sitting top of the Premier League and also finishing top of the Champions League phase as well. Liverpool secured their qualification with 7 wins from 8, only losing to PSV after fielding a largely young and inexperienced side. Those 7 wins included victories against AC Milan, Real Madrid and Leverkusen as well. PSG did fail to qualify automatically, however secured qualification through the knockouts after thoroughly destroying Brest 10-0 on aggregate. 10-0 on aggregate. They scored 7 in the return fixture. Are you mad? 7-0 in the Champions League is insane. What is going on? And despite Liverpool's dominance, it's actually PSG who have the highest score between the two sides, with Ousmane Dembele scoring 6 and Barcola and Ramos both scoring 3, whilst Liverpool's top goal scorers are Gakpo, Diaz and Salah, all with 3 goals apiece. Both teams do find themselves top of their respective domestic leagues though, which is something you'd expect from PSG, but less so from Liverpool in recent years. But they have been challenging, but this time they're sitting on the perch. PSG are unbeaten domestically, but did lose 3 times in the Champions League, whilst Liverpool have lost thrice across all competitions. Once in the Prem, once in the Champions League, and once in the FA Cup to Plymouth. I'm going to have to back Liverpool here though. PSG are playing good football this season and I'd argue look like a better side than they did with Mbappe in the team, but Liverpool are also playing really well and look like beating any team at the moment. I think Liverpool will regress here. Should be a good set of fixtures between the two sides that are playing some good football, but I think Liverpool ultimately have what it takes to overcome this PSG side. They've got more quality about them. You know, some players are in the end of their contracts, so could want to finish things off with a nice Champions League win. I think Liverpool have potential to do that, so I'm backing them here. And as much as I don't like the bold fraud that is Arne Slot, because he keeps bringing up Nottingham Forest, I do think they'll win here. And finally, Barcelona versus Benfica, a repeat of that brilliant clash we've already seen this season. Barcelona finished second in the league phase, comfortably qualifying after winning 6 and drawing 1 of their games. This included wins over Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, and Benfica as well, only losing to Monaco. They were also the highest scoring side during that league phase as they scored 28 goals. Impressive stuff. They also find themselves top of La Liga, level with their El Clasico rivals, head on goal difference, because they'd be scoring goals for fun. Benfica secured their qualification to the round of 16 after beating Monaco 4-3 in aggregate, with a thrilling 3-3 draw on the final day and an 84th minute goal confirming their progression. Quality stuff. As I mentioned previously, these sides had already met in this competition, in which was probably one of the games of the league phase, if I'm honest, as Barcelona had to come from behind to win the game 5-4. Brilliant stuff. Crazy game. I enjoyed it, quite frankly, but I don't think we'll see anything similar here, especially as it's a two-legged tie, but I do think that we'll see a similar result all in all. I'm going to find Barcelona to progress here. They're a team that is scoring goals for fun, both domestically and in Europe, and I don't really think Benfica have anything that will be able to stop Blaugrana. I'm backing Barcelona to progress here, and again lining up that possible El Clasico final in Munich, which would just be amazing scenes, quite frankly. Do I think it will happen? No. Do I want it to happen? Possibly, but do I think Barcelona are going through to the next round? Yes. So yeah, those have been my round of 16 Champions League predictions. I always like it when European football gets into these latter stages of the competition. It's nice to have a bit of normalcy back in this competition. We know what to expect from a round of 16, and there are some good clashes in here, so it should make for some good viewing. I've been O2GT. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Who do you think is going to progress, and who do you think will win the competition as a whole? My money's currently on Liverpool, but you know, maybe Barcelona could steal it. Who knows? Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.